In Africa, yes. Because there is a policy of the American government. It's called the Kissinger Report, which was produced in the mid-70s when Henry Kissinger was involved with the government. And it explicitly states, which to this day, it remains the official policy of the American government. It has not changed. It may not be implemented by Trump, but it remains the same. That the purpose of the foreign policy in Africa was to reduce the population. So to give aid to countries in Africa, not clean water and schooling and things like that, but contraception and abortion, in order to shrink the population of Africa, because they have great mineral resources there.
That sounds diabolical.
It is, yes.
That sounds like something conceived in the mind of Margaret Sanger.
Yeah, definitely. And so at the time, Kissinger and those involved with the Carter administration wanted to shrink the population, make sure that the Africans do not develop and do not use the resources for themselves, because we in the States, we need them. There is a concerted effort of foreign powers to control the population of Africa. Africa is a huge continent, could feed thousands more people, but the policies of the West, especially in Europe. For example, between 1990 and the year 2000, the United States, Canada, and Europe contributed about $6 billion in contraceptives, not to help the people, not to give clean water, clean food. That is
not to fight malaria, for example.
No, of course, perish the thought, never. Yeah. Let them die. That's the whole idea. So in our work in HLI, we denounced this reality to make the Africans aware that they have to defend themselves against the influence of foreign powers.
What makes African and third world debt different from the American debt? Number one, America is never going to pay its debts. It doesn't have to. Its debts are in its own currency. We can simply print it. The African debt is not in its currency. The African debt is in US dollars. Africa has to earn the US dollars, and the only way it can earn the US dollars is not to be assassinated for growing its own food and becoming independent and doing something that the United States does not like. The principle underlying the foundation of the World Bank is that no country should grow its own food. Africa and the third world should only grow export crops. To export, in order to have an oversupply of cocoa and other tropical raw materials, to keep down the price, they must buy their grain from the United States or Europe, so that if they do something that we don't like, we can sanction them. We can say, we're going to starve you. We're going to not export any grain to you.
All right, welcome back again. Now, I made a video yesterday about the fall of America. And when I was making that video, I made it because it is clear and everybody can be able to see that America is going down. And it's not something that people don't know. It's true that America is really going down. God's prophecy is there. People are seeing it. Professors can really tell. They can admit and they can confirm. Ministers can admit and they can confirm. Men of God, they can admit and they can confirm. And even without all those people, we normal people, we can be able to admit and confirm, because right now we are able to see the things that are happening in the United States of America. With all the things that America has been doing to other people, America is really going down, because right now they are not and they cannot be considered as strong as they used to be. Now, somebody came into my comment section and this person said that she is very keen to see me talking about, okay, let me just read the comment. This is what she said. I'm keen to see your videos on the evil and atrocities of Africans in the leadership roles, corruption in Africa, keeping the people tied onto robbed potentials, opportunities, generations, and left uneducated, poor, hopeless, and with brother lawlessness, like in Nigeria and Kenya. He was very specific, like in Nigeria and in Kenya. Not that. Leave America and talk on Africa. She told me to leave America alone and talk about Africa. America has done for herself. No empire ever lived forever. Cry over Africa, focus on Africa, America is able to take care of her own. That is what she said. I should stop talking about America. I should not focus on America. I should focus on Africa and talk about Africa, since Africa has got many problems, and he mentioned including bad leadership, corruption, uneducated people in Africa, which is caused by the African leaders, and many other things. And he said, I should leave America alone and talk about Africa because America is able to take care of itself. I'm loving the part that she said, no empire lasts forever. It is true, no empire lasts forever. Most especially when this empire is an empire that does not respect humanity like the American empire. Most especially when this empire does not care about other people, when this empire is brutal, when this empire is living on the blood or climbing on other people's back to get its power or to get its stability. Empires like those ones, like America, don't last forever. So I am really emphasizing, and I love the part that she said, no empire lasts forever. Now, I want to now focus on this part where she said, leave America alone, focus on Africa. America is able to take care of herself. Now, I want you to tell me in the comment section if America is really able to take care of herself. Because according to what I know, America has gotten the power, has gotten the influence, has been influential, it has been famous, it has been strong, it has been the strongest empire that it has been for years through climbing on other people's back, through climbing on other countries, through relying on what other countries have, through destroying other countries. They got their power by destroying other countries. America is like a boy who wants a girl, but this young man, he has a friend. Like America is like a young man who has a friend, and this young man wants a girl that belongs to this friend of his. So whenever he wants to, so he goes to this girl and tells this girl lies about his friend, so that the girl would forsake his friend and follow him. That is what America does. You're getting power, or you're getting benefits, or you're winning something through manipulating or through humiliating other people or making other people less. Okay? That is how America has been in years. Now tell me, do you really think America is able to take care of itself, or America has been taking care of itself through associating itself with other countries, through relying on other countries, through causing chaos and all that? I want you to tell me in the comment section. Then when I'll come back, I want to talk about this. I want to have a discussion about this comment that this person just gave to me, because I feel like she's writing a wrong comment right here. She's writing comment with feelings. She's not writing this comment in accordance to what it really is, because America has never been a good country. Yes, I will talk about the corruption she has said about Africa. I will talk about the uneducated people that she has talked about in Africa. I will talk about the atrocities she's talking about in Africa, the corruption, the bad leadership she's talking about in Africa. But before I talk about that, I want to play for her and for everybody of us videos that shows what America has been doing to other people, and most especially to the land of Africa and to the Africans, to the African and black people at large, so that she tells me, or so that she can be able to know, and every other people who is out here thinking that maybe America is a good, or Americans are good people, or America is a, yes, we have good people in America. We have a few people, men and women, who care and who understand the value of humanity. They really care about humanity. Of course, there are people like those. They are kind of people who really love other people. They care about other people. They have a heart of a human being. But the large number, they have been mistreating the black people. They've been seeing the black people as people who do not care, who do not matter at all. Okay? Right now, I want to play for you videos of the white Americans, or the video of America, and the video that shows what America has been doing for many years to the people of Africa. And then when I come back, we'll talk about something concerning that. And you will also tell me, what do you think about America? Is it America, is it bad that America is falling? Is it bad? Like, do you think America is innocent? America has been taking care of itself. Is it able to take care of itself? Has it not been committing bad things to the people of Africa and to the rest of the people in the world? Tell me what you think on the comment section. Have your thoughts shared with me. I'll come back and have my thoughts shared with you. I'm going to ask you to subscribe this channel if you've not been able to subscribe. And for the 10 subscribers, I really do appreciate. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the videos.
Important story because, first of all, Africa gets almost no attention. And they're also, the countries of Africa also are the ones that get hardest hit when the United States and NATO decides to have its dalliances around the world. They are the ones that suffered the most, right? But we don't hear much about it. A few months ago, the United States and the European Union put intense pressure on the African countries to fall in line and vote for giving unlimited power to the World Health Organization. You may or may not remember this story. Africa said F you and voted against giving unelected group of globalists power over their lives. Here was the scene, right? Look at this. This was the scene when they were voting on this. And basically African countries stood up and said, no, thank you. There was applause. There was a big, it got suppressed on social media, but there were a couple of tweets that you could actually see people applauding. So Africa stood up for the whole world and they said, no. We are not going to give a group of unelected World Health Organization globalists power to run our lives.
So did Brazil, to be fair.
True. Yes, Brazil did as well. And what this would have done would have been awful, right? So the United States and all of these European countries would have handed over power to the World Health Organization so that in the event of another pandemic, which would never happen, right? Then they would consolidate power under one currency. They would tell us all what to do, mandating lockdowns, all sorts of things, right? They would have unified power to dictate, and all of the countries then would listen.
Track you.
And track
your movement and mandate vaccines.
So let's give it up for Africa for stopping this, at least temporarily, and they told the World Health Organization to go screw themselves.
Well, now the U.S. doesn't like all this sovereignty and making its own decisions that Africa is up to. So the United States now has decided to put some pressure on Africa to basically sanction itself against buying any goods or anything else from Russia other than grain and fertilizer. Grain and fertilizer, okay, fine.
Here's the New York Times headline.
Yes. So now the New York Times is reporting that U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, is warning African countries not to purchase anything from Russia besides grain and fertilizer, or else what? Or else what? You know what? Sanctions.
Because we love our sanctions.
Our favorite things, right? So you sanction them, or we're going to sanction you, right? Now, you may recall that just a few weeks ago, we reported that African nations, they had a conference lately, they published a paper, and they said, we need to tap into our own resources of fossil fuel for energy because we are too dependent on foreign imports and therefore too vulnerable to outside influences. This is prime example of that kind of thing, right? So the rest of the world said, no, Africa, you're going the wrong way. Don't use fossil fuels. You'll screw up the environment. Like, it's fine for us to have done that, but you don't start, right? Don't go and use your own oil unless we want it, then give it to us, right? But no, we cannot have African nations making sovereign decisions. We need to reserve the right to tell you what to do.
So here's what U.S. Ambassador Thomas Linda Greenfield said when, and we'll kind of go through what she was planning here with this New York Times. In this New York Times piece, it lays it out pretty well. She says, during a visit to Uganda, that countries could buy Russian agricultural products, including fertilizer and wheat. But she added that if a country decides to engage with Russia where there are sanctions, then they are breaking those sanctions. She says, we caution countries not to break those sanctions because then they stand the chance of having actions taken against them. I mean, the audacity.
That's a not so veiled threat.
Like, you bullies, right?
They're exploiting our resources. Across Africa on train and equip missions. So just ballpark, in the last decade, how many Africans has the United States military trained and equipped?
Congressman, I don't have that figure. I can get that figure for you.
Ballpark, just, how many?
Congressman, it would be a wild guess right now.
Seems like something we should know, right?
Over the years, we have trained a substantial number, especially in the Gulf of Guinea states, but including
Like more than 10,000?
It is more than 10,000.
More than 50,000?
I'd say we're reaching around 50,000
Okay.
at least.
And what percentage of the people we've trained end up participating in insurrections or coups against their own government?
Very small number, Congressman. Very small number.
So what percentage do you think?
I'd say probably less than 1%.
But it does happen.
The IMEC program is in force, and we've pushed a significant number through our schools across the.
Yeah, and what data sets do you track to arrive at the conclusion that less than 1% of the roughly 50,000 that we've trained have participated in coups? Because it'd be like about 500, about 1% of 50,000.
Congressman, you may have that information. I don't at this time, but I know.
Well, I know there are some, right? Like go ahead and throw up that image. This is Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, and this is a photo of him. Did we train and equip him in Guinea?
By name, I cannot identify that.
Well, that guy in the middle with the big red hat, Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, that's him with a bunch of U.S. service members outside of our embassy. And just months after this photo was taken in 2021, he led a coup in Guinea and threw out the leader. Does that concern you?
Congressman, core values is what we start off with in IMA programs.
Do we share core values with Colonel Doumbouya?
Core values. I will repeat that. Core values. Respect for humanity.
Do we share those values with Colonel Doumbouya?
Absolutely. In our curriculum.
He led a coup.
We do.
Okay, well, that's a very telling answer. In Burkina Faso, did we share core values with the leader that we trained there who led a coup?
It's in our curriculum. We
Leading
stress
coups
core
are in our
values.
curriculum?
We request civilian-led governance.
Wait, hold on. Is leading coups in our curriculum?
Absolutely not.
So
civilian-led.
My question is, do we share core values with the coup leader in Burkina Faso who we trained?
Holistically, we teach core values with a respect for civilian governance, apolitical, and that's what sticks across a very high percentage in the 99 percentile.
Right? But not everybody. And I wonder how many people it takes to plan a coup. I mean, initially you didn't know how many we trained and equipped. Then you said it was 1%. You had no basis for that 1% number because there's no data set you track. Mr. Chairman, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record. Another U.S. trained soldier stages a coup in West Africa by The Intercept.
Without objection, so ordered.
And I further seek unanimous consent to enter into the record. U.S. forces trained the Guinean colonel behind the recent coup in West African country, and this is regard to Guinea.
Without objection, so ordered.
So I guess the question is, why should U.S. taxpayers be paying to train people who then lead coups in Africa?
Congressman, our curriculum harvests core values and also to be able to embolden these countries for a representative democracy.
But General, that democracy isn't what emerges. The problem is, I know you may have great confidence in what you're teaching, but when two governments have been overthrown, I guess how many governments have to be overthrown by people we train before you sort of get the message that our core values might not be sticking with everyone? Is it 5 countries? 10?
We'll continue with our persistence in assuring
but do you think it's
that they harbor democratic norms, democratic values.
Just a moment ago,
you
said we shared core values with Colonel Doumbouya. You said that just moments ago in response to my question, and his core value seems to be leading a coup. So I don't think it's stuck. I think we should at least know how many countries we train the coup plotters in. How many is too many? Because clearly 2 is not too many, and I think we could use our resources far more effectively than doing this.
America cannot tell the truth about herself If the history of this country were written, you would have to say that this country is a nation of thieves. It began by stealing this country from the red man. If I said to you that Christopher Columbus discovered America in 1492, you would say that's correct. But now here comes this honky from Spain. There are already non-white people here, and they're not existing until he comes and discovers them. Ain't that something? All their heroes have been white. They make you bow down to George Washington as your hero. Did they ever tell you that that honky owned slaves? Did he ever tell you that? Not only did he own slaves, he sold a black woman for a barrel of molasses, and he's supposed to be our hero. Our hero. Yeah. We have to begin to unbrainwash ourselves. The biggest lie that this country has told about us is that we are lazy. And here goes some of us running around. Yeah, you know how black people are lazy. We are lazy. White people are so lazy, they stole us to do her work for her, but she was too lazy to do it.
In the past, say 15 years, how the nations have emerged, dark nations have emerged in Africa. Prior to 10 years ago, most Negroes associated or identified Africa with a savage, jungle-like place. And whenever you mentioned the word African, in their mind's eye, they could see the image of someone running around with a spear. With no language, who'd say ugga bugga boo or bwana or something, and who'd be in a jungle running from lions or chasing lions. But then when, after the war, when the United Nations was set up in New York City, black people began to look at men like Tom Mboya. They began to look at men like Nkrumah. They began to see men like Lumumba. They began to see men like Nasser. They began to see these Belawa and Azikwe, who could exchange intellectually with whites on an international level in a political forum and hold their own.
This is how the US destroyed a country that was becoming the Singapore of Africa purely out of spite. After 30 years of war, Eritrea finally gained its independence in 1993. No loans, no foreign interference, just hard work and self-reliance. And the best part is that it was working. GDP was climbing at 6 to 7%. Schools and hospitals were popping up everywhere. Even the US President Bill Clinton was impressed and called Eritrea a rising star in Africa. But unfortunately, powerful empires don't just stand there and watch small countries succeed. They want a piece of that cake too. So when the US asked to set up military bases in Eritrea's key ports, the Assab and Masava, Eritrea refused. It wasn't about being anti-West, it was about sovereignty. But rejecting a superpower? Yeah, well, that comes with consequences. Suddenly, the US shifted its support to Ethiopia, and surprise, surprise, within months, Ethiopia was making territorial claims on Eritrean land. Eritrea wanted to settle things diplomatically, but Ethiopia, being backed by Washington, invaded in 1998. What followed was a brutal war that drained both countries. Thousands died, and Eritrea, who was still recovering from the independence war, was thrown back right into the meat grinder.
Right. Welcome back again. Many countries have really suffered under the hands of the white men, under the hands of the American government. American government has been brutal for many countries here in the world, and most especially in Africa for years. America has built its wealth. America has built its stability. America has grown. It has come up through them manipulating, through them trying to do bad things to the people of Africa, most especially. So this person writing this a comment, I'm keen to see your videos on the evil and atrocities of Africa in leadership roles, corruption, and in Africa keeping the people tied onto robbed potential, opportunities, generations, and left uneducated, poor, hopeless, and with brazen lawlessness like Nigeria and Kenya. And it's okay. In my channel, if you go around this channel, you're going to see many videos. And I've been focusing on the countries of Africa, the problems that Africans are going through, the difficulties that Africans are going through, unemployment, uneducated people, poverty in Africa. I've covered all those things. And I used to talk about it because there are people who are behind all these things. One thing that this person does not know is that the fact that Africa is looking poor, or the fact that Africa is looking to be a country or a continent with uneducated people or with poor people, the fact that there is corruption and lawlessness in Africa, the fact that you're looking at in Africa and feel like people are not really happy in the continent, does not mean that it is the African leaders, or rather, it is the Africans who are causing it upon themselves. One thing you need to understand is that America has, when we're talking about the corruption in Africa and the corruption with the African leaders, America has been using the African leaders for years to manipulate, to oppress the people of Africa. There is uneducated people in Africa because of America associating itself with African countries. There is poverty in Africa because America has been stealing what belongs to an African person for years. The Africans have suffered under the hands of the white men. They have taken minerals, they are taking resources, and it is not something that started yesterday. This is something that started a long time ago. During the days of the transatlantic slave trade, our great minds, our brothers and sisters, our fathers and our ancestors, they were taken away from this land. They were taken to the white man's land. They went there. They've been working so hard and going through problems and difficulties for many years. Those were our great minds that were taken out of this country. They've built America. They've made America look the way it is today. Americans would have never worked their country out by themselves without the presence of black people in their country. Because black people are the most strongest people that we know. Black people are the most intelligent people that we know. Black people are the most influential people that we know. Tell me any single country in Africa that does not have a black person in the world. Go to the United Kingdom, you're going to find black people. You go to France, it is full of the black people. The France national team, everywhere, it is black people in those countries. Go to these countries, go to Argentina, go to Spain, go to Portugal, go to Germany, you're going to find black people. Go to Belgium, you'll find black people. Because black people are the most strongest people and the most intelligent people that we have. Black people are the chosen people. They are the pioneers of this world. They were the first people to be created. And everything that the white people have today, it is because of them associating themselves to the black people. If America is able to take care of itself, just as she has said, why then is America coming to Africa? Why then is America keep on calling African leaders to go and summon them, and put them somewhere on a summit and summon them like kids? Why then does America comes to Africa and claim or to take what minerals that are in Africa? Does America has gold? Does America has diamond? Does America has cobalt? Does America has uranium? Does it have all those minerals? America does not have those minerals, but America needs those minerals. If you're telling me America is able to take care of itself, why then does America has to come to Africa? Or why then does America has to really associate itself with African countries? If America was able to take care of itself, then America would not be engaging in African matters. You're telling me to focus on Africa, yes, while your country, which is America that I'm talking about, is focusing on African countries. Are you even having that in mind? Yes, I can stop talking about America and talk about the African country. It is okay. Of course, I talk about the African countries in my old videos. When I talk about the black people in America, I'm talking about Africa. Those are our brothers and sisters. When I talk about the fall of America, I'm talking about the fall of America because the fall of America is the rise of Africa. America has made Africa stuck at a certain point. And America has gotten its greatness through relying on African countries and Africa as a continent. If America right now loses its stability, it means Africa will find its way to prosper because America is blocking Africa from prospering. The fact that we're saying there is unemployment in Africa, it is because that America has made African countries and African individuals be unemployed. Uneducated people, young men in Africa, they are existing because America has made African governments to work on them so much and forget even working and forget serving their own people. They're serving the American governments. That's what we're talking about when we're mentioning white man's supremacy. Colonization in Africa still continues. And who are colonizing Africans today? America is one of the countries that are colonizing Africa today. Which means the problems in Africa are caused by the American country. That is why I'm talking about the fall of America, because the fall of America is going to be the rise of Africa. America, a point of correction, America is not able to take care of itself. America depends on Africa for it to be able to take care of itself. So when you're telling me I should focus on Africa, remember one thing. My mission and my focus is to revolve the continent of Africa. And the continent of Africa, continent of Africa can only be revolved when America loses its stability, because America has been on top and America has been amongst many countries that have made Africa look like the way it's looking today. Corruption in Africa has been brought by the American government. African leaders who are corrupt and puppet, they are working for American governments. That is number one thing you should know. Unemployment and education in Africa, lawlessness, poverty in Africa has been caused by your country. So I must talk about it. I must address it. And if you feel like me talking about it is bad, then you should better go ahead and tell your government to stop indulging itself and to stop engaging itself to African matters, because Africa has got its own country. It needs to drive and lead itself. It needs to rule itself. Therefore, white countries should stop engaging itself in African matters. If you want Africa, if you want to see wealthiness or poverty not in Africa, if you want to see education in Africa, if you want to see people who are living better, going through, they're getting justice and all that in Africa, then your countries should stop engaging and indulging itself in African matters. That is why I'm talking about America. Africa can take care of itself. Africa has everything that it needs to take care of itself. But why is it that Africa is not independent? It is not independent because of the presence of America in Africa. And that is why we are having great leaders who are rising. Look at a country like Burkina Faso. It has stood up. It is strong. Why is it strong? It is strong because they took out the foreign countries and they decided they're going to work things out by themselves. Okay? So, if you want to see the Africa that you want to see, then go ahead, talk to your government, tell your government to get themselves out of this continent. I've just shown you what your country has been able to do to this continent. Every atrocities. They are the pioneers of the atrocities. You're saying that atrocities are in Africa? Your country are the pioneers of atrocities. And therefore, you should first of all look at what your country has been able to do before you focus and look at what is happening in Africa. Because everything that is happening in Africa, it is happening because of the presence of your country in our continent. Tell me what you think in the comment section. I'll do my best to make sure I read the comments and give a response where possible. I am the African Streamline. I'm going to ask you to subscribe if you have not been able to do so. For the 10 subscribers, I really do appreciate you. I want to know what you have to say. I want to know the thoughts that you have on the comment section. Let's have a discussion on the comment section about this topic, about this conversation that we've just had right now. I tell you every day Africa is home, and anything that concerns Africa concerns me and you as a black people. That's for the black people. Until next time, peace be with you.